simplify some radical expressions that have variables underneath the radical symbol. So when I look at something like 25x squared y to the third, I really think of that as three separate problems. Think of it as the square root of 25 times the square root of x squared times the square root of y cubed. So what I'll do is simplify each one of these, thinking of them separately, and then put them all together. So the square root of 25, that's just 5. Square root of x squared is just x. And the square root of y cubed, well, I could write that just like we did with the numbers. That's like the square root of y squared times y. And y squared is a perfect square. So that'll pop out like square root of y squared is y. And then there's a y left underneath the radical. So now at the end, these were all being multiplied together. So at the end, all of these answers will be multiplied together. Take all the factors that are outside of the square root symbol and put them on the outside. And all the factors that are on the inside of the square root of, on the inside of the radical, just lump those together on the inside. So what I have left is 5xy on the outside, square root of y left on the inside. Let's do another example. This one already has like a 3 on the outside of the radical symbol. So that's just going to kind of go along for the ride here. So what I'll do is 3 times the square root of 200 times the square root of x to the 5th times the square root of y to the 4th times the square root of z to the 7th. Alrighty. Square root of 200. Let's see. That's 2 times 100. And 100 is a perfect square. So that can be 10 on the outside of the radical. Square root of 100 is 10. So let's start writing this down. I've got the 3 on the outside times, I've got the 10 and a 2 left on the inside. Now the square root of x to the 5th. Let's see, x to the 5th. That's got, it's like an x squared and then another x squared and an x. Because it's got 5 x's all together. So you can sort of think of that as x squared, or maybe even x to the 4th times x, right? The square root of x to the 4th, that'll be x squared, because x squared times x squared is x to the 4th. Just kind of like divide it by 2, right? And then you have an x left underneath the radical. The square root of y to the 4th, well, y to the 4th is y squared times y squared. So that'll be y squared. And the square root of z to the 7th, well, you can separate that. It's like z to the, well, the next multiple of 2 here would be 6. It's like z to the 6th times z. Okay, square root of z to the 6th, well, that would be z to the 3rd times z to the 3rd, right? So that'd be z to the 3rd times the square root of z left underneath the radical. Okay, so now you've got all of these pieces. Put all of the factors that are outside of the radical, keep them outside of the radical, and everything left underneath stays inside. So you got 3 times 10, well, that's 30. Also, the x squared times the y squared times the z cubed. And what's left underneath the radical? 2xz.